Hello dear students. In this video, I will tell you a bit more about Football per Rozvoj. Football per Rozvoj is an initiative based in the Czech Republic, and in this video I'll tell you more about what it is, what we do, and why we do it. But then, firstly, I would like to tell you actually what is the aim of this initiative called Football per Rozvoj, this program. Well, we would like to spread fair play in society, not just on the pitch, but outside the pitch, because fair play represents um, one of the core aspects for a better society. As we can see, fair play in many ways, fair play in behaviors towards each other, fair play economically, fair play socially. So our mission is exactly to spread the spirit of fair play, not just on the pitch, but outside the pitch. And how we do it is actually we would like to inspire young people to become those role models in society, which will embrace the values of fair play, which they would have learned through the game of football. And what we do to do that, or how we do it, is by creating a space for education and direct dialogue directly on the football pitch. And what are the activities we actually um, provide or do to achieve this are manifold. Firstly, we have the Fair Play Football League, which I will explain you a bit more later. We have specific training activities dedicated to certain competences, to certain values. And finally, we also have an activity more towards the public, which is a football film festival. I will give you a bit more overview about all these activities later on. But firstly, let's get back a bit in history and let's see how Football per Rozvoj actually started. It started actually a bit further away than the Czech Republic. It was a project inspired by a Kenyan organization called MISA, Matare Youth Sports Association, based in the slums of Nairobi. And there in 2005, one volunteer went and volunteered for that organization based in Kenya. And that Czech volunteer spent 3 months there and saw how this organization is using football to inspire young people, to engage young people, and to motivate them to take a role and responsibility in the society and in the community in Nairobi. And then once he came back, he had the idea that he could perhaps develop a similar program in the Czech Republic, and that's how Football pro Rozvoj, or in other words, or in English, Football for Development, was created in 2006. So yeah, 2006 was the start of that project. So a journey that started already 15 years ago. And at the start, this program was pretty much just a 1 month program, which was a campaign, a raising awareness campaign dedicated to the Czech public and Czech students. And it was based on the exchange of young volunteers from Kenya to the Czech Republic. So every year, during 1 month in the summer, there was a group of volunteers from 5 to 10 people coming from MISA, from the originating organization or inspiring organization from Nairobi, uh, who came to the Czech Republic, and together they were traveling around the Czech Republic, and raising awareness about the different realities which are present in their country, and trying to enter into a dialogue with the Czech public and Czech students. During that campaign or during that month of activities, the young volunteers were engaging with the local population through local events. Usually there was a football tournament, there was an exhibition, there was also a music performance. And along that, there were also workshops done in schools throughout the Czech Republic. So trying to give lectures to Czech students about what are the realities in Kenya and in Nairobi specifically. So Fotbal pro rozvoj was at the beginning this 1 month raising awareness campaign, and pretty much until 2012, it's kept this format or this let's say structure. Then in 2012, we decided that it was important to also expand a bit our activities locally, and that's when we started to grow our network of partnership in the Czech Republic itself, mainly with local non-formal institutions. By that, I mean youth centers and social centers. So those institutions which provide mostly non-formal education as opposed to schools and maybe universities, which were primarily the target group before 2012. And since 2012, the project started to do much more activities also locally and throughout the year, thanks to workshops that were dedicated to teaching certain values through specific football trainings that were, for example, improving cooperation between local people or also communication. So 2012 was, if we can say, the start of the local expansion, and that will lead us towards 2016, which is another milestone in the project. And 2016 represents a key year in the project because that's really the year when the project moved on towards a complex and year-long project that was providing activities ongoingly throughout the year. So thanks to the 6 years before with the local expansion, we had the chance to develop new activities. And one of them is the so-called League of Fair Play Football, which since 2016 is played from September till June in the local regions, which I will show you in a moment. 2016 is also a big year for our recognition internationally, because we, since that year, also managed to strengthen few partnerships abroad, locally with partners from Poland, for example, but also with the, let's say, coordinating organization named Street Football World, which coordinates more than 120 organizations around the world that uses football for social good. So 2016, a key year, probably in the history of Fotbal pro rozvoj, and from 2016 onwards, we have seen a very rapid expansion locally, but also internationally with different projects abroad, and also seeing the League of Fair Play football being spread in different regions in the Czech Republic. That takes us to last year, a very special year, a very challenging year. So we had to adapt like many other organizations. We had to change some approach. We had to move to a more online version of our activities with more or less success, of course. Football is a game played on the field. But on the positive note, it also made us rethink a bit our approach, made us design new activities together, um, the participants on new platforms, for example, on offering them a monthly platform for discussion, for reflection during this pandemic, and maybe also reflecting on their challenges at that moment and preparing the time when we can go back on the pitch. And also at the same time, it made us prepare also other types of workshops focusing on the development of our methodology and providing also workshops more centrally as we could do it online with more people. So that was a key year, a challenging year. We are still in that phase, but we are looking forward to the future with ambition. We are looking towards the future with the aim of building on that history of 15 years, that experience we had. And in our perspective, we would like to really build a hub of excellence in Central Europe that will be really focusing on developing young people in achieving their full potential thanks to the activities we provide, thanks to football, but also trying to connect different actors who might be aiming towards the same goal and who might be interested also in our activities and in the football activities. So the future is ahead, and we are looking forward to it. We have, let's say, ambitious plans for it, and we hope we can achieve those plans and maybe on the short term already return on the pitch this year and re-engage with our target group. So yes, in terms of our activities, geographically in the Czech Republic, we are present in 6 different regions. Our core or our base is in Prague, where we are connected with different organizations, and we have let's say, the biggest base of our participants. But then in the west of the country, we have 2 regions, the region of Ústí nad Labem, which is a sort of more disadvantaged area of the Czech Republic with a lot of communities isolated from the core center, so as the region of Karlovy Vary, where we also participate and try to engage with communities there. Then in Pilsen, we have also there local and strong partners. And in the east, we also work with partners in Ostrava and Olomouc. So in total, we work with a regular base of 300 participants who take part in our activities, with around 30 local organizations, which are the ones our partner on the field, and with them we try to develop the methodology on how to use really football as a tool for their social work and a tool for non-formal education in a more general perspective. But perhaps to give you a maybe more detailed overview of what are our activities, I'll just briefly tell you a bit more about those. We have our first and, let's say, flagship product is our League of Fair Play Football. This League of Fair Play football is different than a traditional football league in the sense that we use a specific methodology which is called Football 3. And why is it called Football 3? Because the match and the games are played not in two halves, but actually in three halves, with a first half dedicated to players having to agree on specific rules, having to agree on how they will play the game, and having a first, let's say, exchange with their opponent. The second half is the game itself, not um, with referees, but with mediators. And the third half is probably the most important part, is where the reflection comes and there is a discussion about the game. So what went well, if rules were respected, if fair play was present, or what was not fair play, for example. And at the end of that discussion, players also give each other fair play points on top of the regular game points. So at the end of the game, both teams come out with a total of points, which is divided into uh, points for the game, for the actual result of the game, and points for the level of fair play during the game. So it's a league that um, promotes fair play as much as the actual competitive side of the league. And we can say it's based on self determination, as players are the ones deciding for how the game is played. It's a league that is inclusive because it's encouraging people from different ability to join. We are also encouraging highly the teams to have an equal gender balance in their team. So it is a league that promotes a lot of values which are very important in our society at that moment. The second activity bunch we have is so-called dedicated training activities, where we focus on a specific um, skill or a specific value through the game of football or through the training of football. So we have specific training activities that are dedicated to certain soft skills. Those soft skills can be, for example, how to communicate better, how to make better decision, how to be more resilient, how to improve your self-confidence, how to set certain goals and prioritize. Those are different skills which can be taught directly through the game of football and through the training of football. And we are providing those trainings along the League of Fair Play Football, firstly for our social workers, so they can give the training back to their clients on a regular basis. And secondly, through training and activities for the youth themselves as we go into the centers and there have activities with them. So these are like two of the core activities we have dedicated to our main target groups, the youth and the social workers themselves. Then we have a third activity, which is more dedicated to the public, as we have identified the need that we should spread a bit also the idea that football can be also used as a positive tool, and also um, it was important for us to have a platform where we could promote a bit our idea and our project. So that's why we have a festival dedicated to football, dedicated to showing different documentary movies about the role of football in society. So it's sort of a raising awareness festival that provides different perspective on football. Along the films, we also have debates, we have Q&As with directors of movies. We also have exhibitions and other activities which feature during that festival. We have now organized 3 festivals, and we hope to organize a 4th one this year, of course, depending on the current situation. Then finally, more on the internal side of our project, but a very important side of our project. It's what we can call research and development. It's the side where we develop continuously our methodology. We try to improve our impact measurement tools to very rely on certain data that can support the fact that our work is done properly and efficiently, and also to communicate better our impact and the impact we have through our activities. And this part of our work, it's also the part where we create partnerships with other NGOs, but also with, for example, universities, with students. It's also the part where we create connections with maybe companies and also other actors who might share the same vision and who would like to come on a journey with us, and where we can find common benefits and also some mutual cooperation, which would make sense. So that's the work we do in the background, but a very also important part of our work, which overall also, and it's important to say, contributes to the Sustainable Development Goals set by the United Nations. We can say that our program focuses or contributes mainly to 6 of those goals, which you can see on the screen right now. The first one is SDG 3, good wealth and well-being. How do we do that? Well, by actually providing a free and meaningful activity, regardless of the sportive ability, regardless of the gender, regardless of the social background of the participant. Because one of the problems that we have is the actual access to sport and the access to sort of those activities. In many cases, you have to be affiliated to a sports club, and for those sports club, you need to have the means. So this is one of our aim is to provide those free access and meaningful activities. So in that case, we provide this. Also, the 4th one is quality education, because we think that education needs to be furthered and advanced. We need to find new ways to engage the young people outside the classroom. You need to move the classroom into a more interactive and engaging approach. So that's why football, we think, can be a very attractive and an alternative to the traditional classroom, because directly on the football pitch, we can learn new things, we can educate, and we can also find new pedagogical ways to engage those young people who might have struggles in the classroom. Secondly, it's also because in the traditional educational system, there are certain skills which are not taught, especially soft skills and how to cooperate with each other, how to be more self-confident, and how to have more self-control about our emotions. These are many things which are not taught in school, but that can be taught also in the classroom. So why not using the football pitch as a classroom? And that's why we think we can contribute to SDG 4 in this regard. SDG 5, gender equality, very important to us as well, is to encourage participants to reflect on their position in society, to reflect on their stereotypes which they might have about each other, about boys towards girls, girls towards boys. And that's why we are trying to incite the participants to play equally and to be inclusive at all levels as they play and take part in our program. So that was for SDG 5 and gender equality. SDG 8, decent work and economic growth, might not be that evident, the link, but a bit um, like SDG 4, we think that in order for a person to be ready for the job market, that person needs to have the soft skills necessary and demanded much more right now by the jobs offered on the market. And that's why we are trying to develop those soft skills so those persons are, for example, more able or to present themselves at interviews, to communicate better, to be able to work in a team, to be more resilient to stress, for example. These are many different skills which are very important for the employment, and we think can be also taught through football. The second side of it is also that we would like to empower young people to take active role in society. That's why we also aim at um, giving youth leaders an opportunity to raise their voice and decide for themselves. And we are there to help them uh, contribute to that. SDG 10, reduced inequalities, very important element in our work. For us, the football pitch should be an equal playing field point, regardless of the ability, regardless of gender, regardless of the age or the social group. The football pitch should be a place where young people shouldn't be biased by any element, but should see each other as equal people, and that's why we are trying to make our game and activities as inclusive as possible and also as participative. That means that we encourage the participants to decide to the development of our activities. So we often ask them their opinion on our activities and if they would like to change anything. So that's very important to us, this equal playing field and contributing to reduced inequalities. Final goal 17, partnership for the goals. Um, an important part which takes place more in the background, but I think um, we have the responsibility to create partnerships for the common goal, for our mission. And that's why we are striving to seek for those strategic partnerships locally and internationally, and to develop our know-how collectively. That means that we might need some help with, I don't know, promotion. So we would like to work with an organization which is particularly good at promoting things or marketing. Or there's an organization which has more knowledge on a specific methodology. Then there's a way also to create partnerships there where we would exchange know-how. There's also a chance to make exchange between youth from different countries and exchange, let's say, experiences. So this is all the things that are, I think, contributing to that goal where we have created partnerships for a common goal and ultimately for for improving the lives of each other in our societies. So in a very, let's say, short way, I would say, but detailed way, this was Football pro Rozvoj. If you would have any questions, I think we'll have a chance during the intensive course to have questions as well. And if you have any specific wishes, comments, questions, you can directly send us an email or visit our website, and we would be definitely happy to continue this discussion with you and maybe see us in our activities. So I'm looking forward to meet you also in person. And in the meantime, I wish you a good time. Stay strong and see you soon. Bye bye.